Hey everyone, welcome to today's live stream. I had a quick change of plans today. I am not feeling my best, so there's a couple things we're going to do, a couple things we're going to talk about. We're going to do a recap actually. I just realized a couple of things. This COVID Client Challenge, if you don't know what that is, the reason you probably don't know about it is because you haven't been in a Facebook group lately. For one thing, and always stay tuned to that because you never know what we're going to come out with, right? But we also, I just figured out maybe 5 minutes ago that everything that I'd been loading into the Ring Ad software for the COVID Client Challenge hadn't actually been made visible to everyone, and I fixed that. So the first 4 days of our challenge, today was going to be day 5. We're going to do day 5 tomorrow. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're going to do day 5, day 6, day 7. We're going to start at 9 a.m., which is about a few hours earlier than what we normally do on streams, but it gives us more time on the phone and to be able to jam. And so optimal call-in days are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I'll tell you straight out, folks, I just don't feel good. I'm not sick. I'm just run down. I'll be honest, straight out with you. And some days are like that. Yesterday I was kind of feeling it and powered through it, but today I just not able to do that. Not really. Not to any. Let's say it this way. Uh, not to be at the levels that I need to be at to show you what's possible with this. And so while I'm not trying to manufacture the absolute best results possible, I want to show you what average days look like. Today is definitely not an average day. It's definitely below average for me. The good news is we can do a recap of what we covered so far in the first 4 days for those of you that missed it. And for those of you that are following along and have been since day 1, this is a perfect opportunity for you to ask your questions on your catch up. I know some of you were catching up to where we're currently at, and so I figured I'd say hello to everybody and do that recap, let everybody know what's going on, and maybe if I feel better today, I'll be able to catch up on some stuff myself, right? I'm still working on some of the support. I've gotten a lot done. I mean, I've answered probably in the last 3 or 4 days. I've probably answered a few hundred tickets. I've still got a few to go, but anyway, support will be in terms of the desk will be caught up here pretty soon. If you're still waiting on a response or an answer, just know that it's coming. Even to older tickets, don't worry about it. I got you covered. I'm not going to let anything drop through the cracks. And if I do, just send me a friendly reminder in the support desk, and I'll make sure that I get to it. There's nothing that's going to be missed. That said, I know we have a few new people as well, so I'd like to welcome you to Ring Ads, and pretty excited about, even though I'm not feeling my best, I'm pretty excited about what we're doing right now. Actually, we're in the middle of a 7-day challenge, and we're calling it the COVID Client Challenge, as you can tell by the graphic there on this post. And we're at the stage now where we're going after clients, and so it's pretty exciting. I'm not going to lie. It's one of those things where you build the business and the foundation well, and when it's time to get on the phone, in other words, to get clients, you know your stuff so well that clients come easy. It's not a difficult process. It really isn't. Even if you screw it up 6 ways from Sunday, it's going to be a result. You're going to have a result. You're going to have success with that. So anyway, I figured I'd start with a recap. Let me check the comments, make sure everybody can hear me okay. I should probably started with that. It's called knackered. Yeah, knackered. Doesn't knackered mean like just tired, just tuckered out? I don't know if I just feel drained. I've felt tired before. Feeling tired and or half awake is one thing. I just feel run down, to be honest. But hey, stuff like that happens. Okay, good. Looks like, well, people are saying hello. Rest, we can get it. If he, yeah, John, so John can hear me. Okay, cool. So people can hear me. That's good. Uh, okay, so let's uh, let's jump into a recap real quick, and I'm going to be a little bit more in depth. Uh, I did a mentorship session. I do one every week on Mondays. I did one yesterday with the mentorship, and so I know some of you are in the mentorship or on this call. Um, and we spent 3.5 hours roughly on a call yesterday, and I wasn't my best then either. I was okay, but we did a little bit of a recap, but there were some things like, for example, I'd forgotten that I had done a privacy policy terms of service. Somebody asked me for copies of that. I went in and yesterday I was able to make copies of that and post that into the COVID Client Challenge as well as Ring Ads Prime. So for those of you that are following along on the Ring Ads Prime side, you'll also see it listed there. And so yeah, it's everything you need is basically here. Actually, I can show you on my screen. This is basically where I'm keeping everything. I haven't the challenge is in terms of the rules are not really rules, but what I'm sticking to is I'm not doing any work on the agency outside of actually live streaming. So you get to see all the ups and downs. Like the only thing I've done recently is upload a few files. As you can see here, I uploaded the privacy policies, uploaded the recordings for my ringless voicemail voice broadcasting campaigns that are going to run. But outside of that, everything here has already been created and inside of a live stream. So one of those 4 sessions that we've currently done, which is pretty cool. In fact, we've got the video backups even of the first 4 sessions here. Always like to do that. Anyway, we started with an overview, and it looks something. It's down here. It looks something like this, where we worked on actually selecting a vertical. So we went through over an hour going through each vertical and what makes them good or not so good at this current time, right? With what we're going through with COVID. Obviously, it's called the COVID Client Challenge, so it's a little bit different of a landscape. Not much different though than you would expect, because most of the verticals that we recommend, which we even give you like a cheat sheet how to find the verticals. If you don't even have a clue as to what vertical you should be going into or what to look at, then day one is very, very helpful right out of the gate. Then we go through and we actually establish a business name and buy some domains, set up the email, and we went to go and set up Ring Ads, but we couldn't do that because the email server hadn't been fully set up. It took like 12 hours or something like that. So we had to hang up the Ring Ads setup until the next day. But we did start our market research, at least the Google search part of our market research. We started that. We got our tracking going too, and just so you guys know what the tracking looks like, this is what we started with. Obviously, there's many different tracking sheets that we still have to set up. For example, for sales, we've got a tracking sheet we're going to do, one for ad campaign performance, one for customer onboarding support, etc. And there's many others, but we wanted to start with the one for basically agency setup. So we went through and checked everything off with green, so we knew what we would have left to do. And this is actually where we're currently at after 4 days of working. And keep in mind, you can do it in far less time. I've seen people do this in a day, 2 days. Myself, I could probably have it done in several hours. And so if you multiplied that even twice as long as it normally takes me, or 3 times as long, or if you just followed along with the live streams, it would probably take you less time than what we've done on the streams. I mean, we've put up, I looked at the streams and added up the time. We've done 18 and a half hours of streaming so far on 4 days of the COVID Client Challenge, which is a lot. That's a lot. And not that all of it was strictly spent working. There was a lot of over the shoulder. You got to hear what was on my mind, what I'm thinking, my thinking processes. You got to watch me set up some stuff that maybe you can already learn, well, definitely can already learn inside of like software training, for example. You got to see me set up my entire Ring Ads account. But I think that's valuable to a lot of people, because if you don't know anything about Ring Ads or setting it up, then I just gave you all the answers. It's like getting all the answers to the test, and that's what I love about the 7-day challenge. It's it takes all the guesswork out. There's no room for error, and I usually stop every so often and field questions in the comments of our live stream. So we actually doing these things live. They're not pre-recorded or anything. They will be recorded for replays and all that. Obviously, they're the first 4 days are up that way, but the idea is you can jam on what you need to jam on, catch up on it, and ask questions. Even today, in today's session, for example, I encourage it because you're going to get the answers that you need. But I'll tell you right now, if all you did was follow the bouncing dot on these live streams, then for the COVID Client Challenge, then you're going to do very well. I can promise you that. Still, some questions might come up, and that's fine. I'll be more than happy to answer those as always. But as you can see, we track everything from day one. Super important to track everything, not just sales, not just how the ads are doing for our clients, not just the conversations we have and how many customers re-upped and all that with more funds. Those are great things to track, but we start with good habits, right? I think one of the things that most people underestimate is when I say track from day one, I really do mean track everything you do from day one, because there's been times where I've gotten frustrated actually on the live stream, and you get to see that, and you can see in the checklist here, like there's a lot of stuff done, but at the end of the day, I had to go through and be like, okay, what did we get done? And as I'm checking stuff off, it's like, okay, so we made some progress. And I think that's the key word there, is progress. The name of the game is just make sure you're moving forward. That's the main thing. Make sure you're moving forward, and life will be good, no doubt. Even on your not so good days, I don't feel so bad as far as mentally about where we're at, even though I'm having to shove off on today in terms of day 5, because I know my setup is solid, probably the most solid I've seen in a while, in terms of what I teach, and should be that way, I guess, because I'm the one doing it, and if I'm teaching it, then it should be solid. So this is a very, very solid setup. I have no doubt whatsoever that we're going to be able to do what we need to do and pull some clients in this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. As soon as I just get some more energy, I'm going to go and rest up probably after this stream and take care of myself. Okay, so that was day 1, right? Tracking all that stuff. And then we had to come back and actually, we had other stuff to do, like setting up the ads website, setting up our agency website, tracking all of that. But we had to come back and finish our Ring Ads setup, and we also dug deeper on our market research. We got all that done on day 2. Day 3, we actually had a little bit of leftover on the agency website setup, which, by the way, I mean, we used ClickFunnels. Well, wait a second. So we set up our ads website. You can see that's just on a WordPress install, like I always teach. And then we set up our agency website, which is where we send our potential clients to. You can see here's the funnel. Just 3 pages. That's it. I mean, it's very straightforward. I mean, we went through, we set up the domain, made sure the forwarding was good to go. We set up the product. We probably add a couple more in there here soon on the next stream, I guess. But the idea is everything's set, ready to take money for a client to deliver those phone calls to them. And so, actually, one thing I'd like to look at, I wonder how many people have viewed this page. It's a good question. Quite a few. Quite a few people have viewed this page, and you can see we've set up our privacy policy, terms of service, all that kind of stuff as well. Yeah, that's funny. A lot of people have seen this page. That's cool. Not a bad thing. Just is what it is, right? Okay, so we set that up on day 2. Day 3, we went through and started setting up our ability to email. So G Suite, YAM set up. We set up the Google Maps contact extractor and got that running. I pulled out the email templates, and I believe that was where we stopped for the day. We didn't get to the tracking expenses yet. We still haven't got to that yet, actually. And ringless voicemail, voice broadcasting recordings, we actually did at the beginning of day 4. We called Dale at Dialer Central up, which Dialer Central, that's what I use to, let me go home here. Dialer Central is what I use and have used for many years for delivering ringless voicemail, voice broadcasting. They're the best I've ever found, and not just in pricing, not just in deliverability rates, those are all great things, but also in support. And there's one thing that Dollar Central has that no other ringless voicemail voice broadcasting platform has, which is they know our business. They know exactly, to the point where they have clients inside an agency that runs through ring ads, and these guys run this company. I mean, that's you're not going to find that anywhere else. Someone that knows your business that intimately, besides you, right, and besides me, besides us, I should say. That's rare and unique, right? So that's pretty cool. I enjoy that. But I'm all set up, ready to run. We've got the campaigns ready to run. We had some issues with that last week, and I decided just to push the calls to this week to have prime days for calling, and try my best to do some catch up. I did a lot, actually. We're just not there yet, so we'll get there. That's the point, right? Progress. Hopefully you can hear that and take learning lessons from that. It applies to everything you do, not just this agency model. So I set up my ringless voicemail and voice broadcasting recording, sent those over to Dale. We got the campaign set. I had the prospecting list I grabbed, and that's where we're at, right? Day 5, day 6, day 7, that's where we start our calls. We start client setup. We do campaign setup and for those clients at the end of the day. So basically, in tracking of all of that. So basically, I've got a few things to catch up on, very small. I'm going to do some call script review at the beginning of session 5, jump on the phone, close some clients, set up at the end of the day, when I'm done being on the phone, I'm going to come through and set up whatever clients I have that day on their Ring Ads campaign. I'm going to set them up on the Google Ads that forward to that phone number inside of Ring Ads, all that kind of stuff, right? So the full delivery, not just payment from a client, but full delivery for those clients, and set up the tracking for that. So there's a few tracking sheets to create. I need to track the updated expenses because we're keeping track of that, so you can see what it takes to grow the agency from bootstrap, right? You've also got what else was it that I had left to do? Oh yeah, we had some challenges with some of the YAM support setup. It's there's some delays in their support responses, but we're working on getting the limits from 400 to 1500 emails per day. But we'll get there. That's it's lower priority. While email is very effective, and many of you in the past have definitely pulled clients from email, and it's very strong. It accounts for maybe a third of the deals that you can pick up. The other 2/3 are going to be ringless voicemail, voice broadcasting, and some other methods that I've yet to teach. But ringless voicemail, voice broadcasting by far is a very effective way. If that's all you ever did, you would pull in a ton of clients and be able to manage them. So that's why our focus is there, and we'll just keep following up until we're able to do emailing. Okay. All right. Let's see. So day 5, day 6, day 7. We'll do a debrief at the end of day 7, and I'm going to do some kind of a follow-up series. COVID Client Challenge, the COVID Client Challenge, 7-day challenge, is the startup, if you will, to Ring Ads Prime. So everything from the COVID Client Challenge is actually being posted inside of Ring Ads Prime, along with all the documentation that I told you about. Actually, I can show that to you. Let me go here. So if you look at, this is just a test login here. If you look at the dashboard, you'll see, if you're a Ring Ads Prime member, you'll actually see it down here under 2020. and you'll see that the 4 days are posted. You'll also see the different files that you can access, like for example the privacy policy, terms of service examples I told you about, market research documentation, my welcome email template for the agency website, everything you need, everything that I've worked with inside of the live streams you have access to, which is pretty cool. The only thing that's missing right now is the recordings, and that's because I'm having a slight error with the MP3 uploading. I'll get my dev team to work on that, and then the MP3s will be uploaded, no problem. But here it is in Ring Ads Prime, and so that's where when the COVID Client Challenge ends at the end of the 7 days, we'll pick up inside of Ring Ads Prime. So if you don't have Ring Ads Prime, you can upgrade. Just click on the upgrade plan over here, add Ring Ads Prime, and you should be golden. Up here, so for the first 7 days, bonus COVID Client Challenge. This is the piece that I told you was not posted publicly until a few minutes ago. I caught that. I have no idea how I missed that, but I did. And I caught it without somebody having to tell me about it, which is cool. And same thing, it's a mirror image of all the files for the first 7 days anyway, because this is the 7-day, the COVID 7-day client, COVID Client Challenge. COVID 7-day client challenge, something like that. COVID client challenge 7 days, right? However you want to say it. And it's got all the files, same thing. So day 5, 6, and 7 will be loaded in here, no problem. Same thing as Ring Ads Prime. And beyond that, like when we start doing some scaling, when we get new clients, when we hire staff, when we basically build the rest of the business out, when we optimize campaigns, when we do advanced optimization, when we scale to other types of ad platforms and other types of ad campaigns, when we add services, all those things will be covered inside of Ring Ads Prime. It's obviously way more than 7 days worth of training, but the idea here is to get you jump started, is to offer you the 7-day client challenge, the COVID Client Challenge. So yeah, that's where we're at on the overview, the recap, if you will. It's been pretty interesting. You know, I've done my market research phone calls. Forgot to mention that. We did that, I think, on day 4. We picked that up, and there was some, you know, it was kind of a hodgepodge. You got a mix of responses. Some, you know, one was an email, one was send me a text, one was an actual conversation with a business owner, pulling good information. And that's the point of good market research, and how important it actually is to the business, because without it, you're in the dark. You really are in the dark, and it's just not a good place to be. I don't know how else to say it. You just got to do it. But the good news is it's a great warm up for you to be to do your market research, for you to go and do that, and then be able to get on the phone and actually close clients afterward when you start your sales calls, right? When the calls start coming into you, rather. So there's that. So what we said we were going to do a recap, show you everything, and yeah, I mean, from here, you know, we're working on rolling out. Once the COVID Client Challenge is complete, we're going to continue the updates, like I said, in Ring Ads Prime. We're also going to work on rolling out the regular order of training, because I feel like you'll have multiple run-throughs of it. You know, you already have the guides, part 1 and part 2 of pay-per-call agency success. I'm going to go back and update those as we roll out the official training, I should call it. The COVID Client Challenge helps you get a jump start on it in the meantime, along with those guides. Both of those are designed to take you from 0 to actually getting clients, okay? The regular order of training, as we roll it out, is going to be piece by piece, but it's going to cover the exact same stuff. So for example, the agency building, that's all about what we've covered in the first 4 days and then some of the COVID Client Challenge. So if you don't want to wait on the regular training that's to be rolled out, that's fine. Start with the COVID Client Challenge. I think that's the important point to take away from that. And of course, we'll be continually adding to things. On top of that, we have a ton of software development that's coming down the pipe. Told you about that a couple weeks ago, and we're a little backlogged, but not horribly. We're still catching up on some things, but like I said, we're getting there. And when we do, it should be sometime this week, I'm thinking. And when we do, it's going to be, we'll wrap up the COVID Client Challenge, be caught up on everything, and be in a position to where the first part of May here, we'll be able to start rolling out some of that updated training anyway. So pretty excited about that, because I know a lot of you have been asking about that and wanting to get started. Again, my recommendation is to start with the guides and start with the 4 days of the COVID Client Challenge, because everybody that's been following along with it has nothing but nice things to say about it, pretty much. I'm sure there might be one person here and there that doesn't have something nice to say, but that's anything. Most everybody, though, that's been following along has picked up a lot of gold along the way. And even if what's interesting is some people went through the sessions and had already set their stuff up, and they're just verifying things along the way on what they set up based on what I taught them. For example, some people that are in the mentorship, they already have access to this kind of training, and they've gone through their setup, and they're still learning things, is my point. Watching over my shoulder, doing those kinds of things. So that it's definitely been a great learning experience for us, as well as you guys, in terms of how you retain the information and how valuable it is to do something like an over-the-shoulder series, where we can stop for a second and I can answer your questions and tell you where my mind is at as well. It's pretty nice. So anyway, I'm gonna take a look at the comments here, see if there's any questions. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them. Now would be the time, and I'll be more than happy to field those for you. And we'll see where this takes us. But yeah, let's do that. Okay, a bunch of stuff has come in already. I'm gonna scroll up to the top. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. Sid, would it be advisable to use my own cell number until we get the back office number with a voicemail in place for my market research call? I want to record them and post them in the group as a journal. It's not a bad idea, Sid. I mean, whatever's going to work the best for you, man. I told you why I made the calls through ring ads in the sessions, and the reason I did that, just as a reminder, is so that everybody could hear those calls and so that they would be recorded. For the texting and all that stuff, obviously I would have to do that on the cell phone anyway, but again, I was just giving you guys an example so you can hear what it sounds like, right? You do what you need to do to make it work for you, all right? I trust you. Let's see. Is the script for the market research somewhere? Yes, Elaine, it is. Matter of fact, I will show you. Actually, did I load that? I thought I loaded that. Let me just double check. It should be over here. If I were to look at market research, did we do it? Let's see. It's not in session 2. Is it session 4 that we made those calls? Oh, I did not load that up. I will load that up. Matter of fact, I can do it while I'm answering questions probably here. Wow, I don't know how I missed that. Probably because I'm not all here, and that's okay. Kind of. But you caught it, and now I can go and fix it. What day was it that we made calls? I think it was day 4, right? So I'll add it under day 4. I'll add it under day 4 for us, and I'll add that in both places again. I'll add it under the bonus COVID Client Challenge category, as well as Ring Ads Prime. I'll make sure they're in both places. I'm pretty sure I downloaded that. I'm almost certain I did. I just got to go find the file. That might be how I missed it actually, but that's okay. Choose files. Let me see if I can find it here. Actually, let me answer another question while I'm looking for that. So let me take a look here. Where's the link to that tracking link, please? Tracking link. Tracking link? Andrew, I don't know what you mean, dude. Can you help me out there? You're talking about a tracking link. I'm not sure. I'm not understanding what you're asking. Okay, Elaine's asking if you've set up a product for 20 calls for $500, then you have a client who wants to start smaller, so 10 calls for $250. How would you handle that as far as setup for the initial deposit? I know you can create multiple products, but what happens on the back end as far as choosing the product you want for the client? Does ClickFunnels show you both and they can choose? Yes, that's correct. It'll show in like in a drop down if you have multiple products. Go and test it out. You'll kind of see what it looks like. If you don't have clients currently going to that web page, it doesn't matter. Add in a couple of products. They'll show in a drop down on the deposit page, the second page of the agency website template, and they'll be able to make their choice of the 10 calls at $250 or the 20 calls at $500. What you could do if you're going to offer multiple products like that, you could offer a like 2 free calls or a 10% discount or something like that, where obviously you say you're starting small, but when they see the options, some people will ask you about the bigger package, especially if they know they're going to save money and they see the value in what it is that you're delivering, and you can collect a bigger deposit for more calls, no doubt. So having those multiple options will help, and consider offering, like I said, a bulk discount, very, very small bulk discount. Obviously 20 calls is not really a major delivery, right? So 5%, 2 free calls, something like that, that's not going to kill you in order to pick up that bigger deposit, which obviously starting out with as many clients as possible in the way we're doing things up front is going to make a big difference to how fast you move, and how fast you move makes a difference in how well you do, how quickly you do well, I guess I should say. So yeah, I would say definitely do that. Test it out. Take a look at what it looks like. But it shows the products in a drop down on the deposit page, the second page there. Did I miss anything? And keep in mind that's an initial deposit. So once the deposit is made, you go in and manually create the Ring Ads account for your client. They're going to get emailed login details to that account that you just created, and from there they can actually add a card on their back end to their wallet. This is also why I tell you to create a test company, so that you can log into the test company side and see what it looks like, because there's fewer menu items on the left hand side of the Ring Ads platform as a client logging in, one of which is and a few different ones as well, one of which is a wallet, which shows them their balance with you. One of the things is when you get a client in and you create that client in your database, if you will, one of the things you determine is how much money they paid you, and if you send that directly to the wallet, or you can actually even invoice directly from the platform and collect money that way. But I highly recommend you start with an initial deposit and then teach them how to continue paying you. It's a much smoother process that way. It's one of the many reasons why we use the agency website. But yeah, that can all be done inside the back office of Ring Ads. What did I call that file? Was it appliance repair market research? Maybe. Let me look at the A's. Yep, there it is. Appliance repair. No, that's the wrong one. I want the market research template. Dang. Okay. Well, I know I saved it, didn't I? Market research call script. There it is. Oh, it's in the R's. Okay, it's in the R's. So let me look in the R section. I'll get that sorted. Ring Ads Market Research call script. That would be the one. Yep, I already have it downloaded. Sweet. Alright, so I will add it there under video 4, and then I will go back to COVID Client Challenge. Nope, that's the one I added it under. I'll go to Ring Ads Prime now and add it under day 4 there. Okay, cool. So I'm adding that in now, Elaine. And thank you for catching that. I'm not sure how I missed that, but I did. I did miss it. And now it's going to be fixed here momentarily. Ring Ads. Market Research Call Script. Awesome. Now that one has 4 files. What am I missing? 4 files. There's voicemail. National repair. Okay. Let me check. I think I'm missing another file on day 4 for the bonus COVID Client Challenge section. 1, 2, 3. Yep, I'm missing a file. That's okay. I know what I'm missing. I'm going to add it in now. It's the national. Starts with the ends. Caught another mistake. No big deal. Fixing it right up. There she is. Found it. Alright, and then add. Okay, so if you were inside of Ring Ads right now, currently looking at some of that training, you can hit. Why is that not loading? That's weird. Maybe I spoke too soon. 1 second. Yep, I'm gonna have to go back down to find the file again. Froze on me. Could be because I'm on a live stream. Sometimes that happens. Alright, let's try one more time. Open it up. Add. And it's freezing again. That's okay. We'll give it a minute to think. Let me answer some more questions. It's almost updated. It's almost done. Market research call script is there though. Alright, there we go. So if you hit refresh now, you'll see all the files that that you need to see. The tracking sheet. Andrew, the tracking sheet, you will get a copy of that tracking sheet when we're complete with the 7-day challenge. There's some things that I'm going to remove from it, such as credentials. And I'll be changing all the credentials and then removing that tab. And once I do that, or make a copy and then remove the tab from the copy for the credentials, then I'll give you access to that. But in the meantime, you have everything you need to be able to go and make your own template. You should not need my template. You should not need my template. You will have it at the end when we're ready to give it to you, but you do not need that right now. You should be able to make your own. And thank you for clarifying. Let's see. When doing market research, do you make calls in each of the cities you're targeting, or just one city is enough, considering leads may vary in price depending on location? When you do your market research, the varying leads of costs, or lead costs, are going to come down to cost of living in the different areas. I recommend calling more than just one area. I recommend targeting a few different places across the country. Spread it out. Like maybe call some places in Texas, call some places in California, call some places in the Midwest, call some places in the South, and maybe call some places in the Northeast, right? All over, right? Completely different geographic just areas, just different. And I've always said this, and I'll keep saying this, you've got to make 20 connections, meaning a lot of people think I mean just call 20 people. No, you need to speak with 20 people that are going to give you meaningful conversations, like business owners or office managers, someone who knows the business and can give you some feedback on the industry itself as you conduct your market research. You've got to be able to speak to those 20 people. Now, what does that mean? A lot of people don't really think about this, but I'll give you the numbers straight out. If you dialed 100 times, 100 people across the country, you would reach about half of them, anywhere from 40 to 50 of them. Okay, sometimes it's lower, sometimes it's higher, but 40 to 50. Okay, and then out of those half that you get to answer the phone, half of those half, so 25% of the 100, so 20 to 25 people, in other words, are going to be decision makers, the right people that you need to speak to. And out of the 20 to 25, there's your 20 conversations that you should be having for market research. Okay, so how many dials do you actually have to make or conduct before you reach your 20 conversations? That's right, 100, at least 100 dials to get to that one person. Matter of fact, I think we did, like on the market research examples that I showed, we did 4 calls and I spoke to one business owner. I mean, it worked out almost exactly. So in order for me to do 20 calls, I need to speak to 80 to 100 people. There were a couple people that I probably just didn't reach, but again, the numbers are what the numbers are almost exactly every time. You're going to have some people that you need to text, you're going to have some people that you need to leave a voicemail for, etc., that kind of thing. So 20 people, need to speak to 20 people, not all in the same city. Spread it out to different areas across the country, not just one state, not just one city, not just one half of the country. Get the whole country, right? So you get a really good feel for the market as it is, not just pricing. Pricing is just one aspect, and it's probably the easiest. A lot of people overthink that. The biggest challenges are going to be the actual market research that you're digging on. That seems to be the biggest challenge for most people. Let's see. When am I going to cover the call pricing? When am I going to cover the call pricing? I covered the call pricing in our market research. I would go back through day 2, day 3, mostly, where we uncovered the pricing. I mean, we covered that. I'm not sure if you have specific questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them, but we covered exactly how I came up with the pricing. I actually came up with if you remember correctly, I came up with the pricing because I knew the industry, and then I went back and showed you how I found the pricing and why my pricing makes sense to the vertical. So that's already been covered, like in depth, pretty much. I'm pretty sure at least once, maybe twice, in terms of the cost side. In fact, I even uploaded the PDF for some of the data that we found in the market research. There was a PDF that I saved specifically for this vertical that we're in for the challenge, and we talked all about pricing, covered it all. So if you have specific questions, I'll be more than happy to answer, but we've already covered that. What do you do if lead costs vary per area? Do you create duplicate sites just for the initial deposit? Obviously, keeping lead prices the same would be much easier, but perhaps not practical. I keep it the same. If I need to do some kind of a price increase, then I do a price increase. But what I do, you gotta understand, most of our calls are on the high side because they're high quality. We know that, and we also don't compete on price because of that. And if you look at the call script and how we handle the conversation when people say no, you'll understand that there's nothing about competing on price in there. In fact, we challenge that. We say, compared to what? If somebody says expensive, that's a challenge, not a capitulation, right? We don't capitulate on pricing. We do not go with the crowd. We do not do what everybody else does. That's why I said be careful on the discounting. You don't want to discount so heavily that you're making it look like there's no value in what you're delivering. So you're overthinking it, Elaine. You hate to say that, but it's true. Pick a price based on your market research. After you've done your market research, if you want to ask me about the pricing that you have for the vertical that you have, I have no problems confirming that for you. But I'm not just going to give you the answers, right? I think that's not doing you a service. So go do your market research. Don't think about that too much. You're overthinking it. And set your price and go, right? Set your price and go, and you'll be fine. Bit off topic question. Have I ever had days where it took so long to do something that initially it seemed it would take only a few minutes, ended up taking hours or days to do? I sometimes end up doing things in my business which take way longer than I had planned, and I end up beating up myself for not accomplishing more in that day. How do you handle such feelings? I'm currently going through that. I mean, just because I'm low energy right now. Today, yesterday, definitely today, but I'll tell you how I'm going to deal with it and what's going on in my mind. For example, I had to show up to this call. I say had to. Let's say this. I did not want to miss this call because, and the reason I say had to is because my mind goes to, there are people counting on me, depending on me. There are people that have questions. There are people that need some guidance. That's what this is all about, is forward progress. And so I look at it as, even if some days I only moved the ball an inch, it moved. And I start equating my success or failure overall differently than I do on a daily. I think part of the challenge here is, and this is more of a mindset thing, and again, I'm not the best mindset guy, but for this business model, the reason we track everything is why? So that we can see that, you know what, we may have started 5 things and only finished 1 because we're waiting on an email from this guy. Excuse me, we're waiting on this to happen. We can't figure this out, so we're waiting on a support question to be answered, or this, just a bunch of different things, right? That's pending, if you will. But we were able to do what? Start 5 things and at least finish 1. That's moving the ball. It may not be into the end zone yet, but you moved it an inch, or you moved it a yard, as opposed to going backwards at least, right? And there's some days where, not often, but at least for me anyway, there's some days where you move backwards, where you do something, you have to undo 2 or 3 steps back and then go forward. And if all you did was still just move forward a yard to the positive at the end of the day, you've still made significant progress, because everything you needed to correct has been corrected, plus you gained another yard. That's a win in the overall scheme. So I focus on one question: did I do something today? And after that, I say, was that enough, right? Did I do enough? And if I didn't, and I've got the energy to, then I keep going until I feel like it is enough. And by is enough, I mean find a good stopping point. Some days that's a 16-hour day, you know. I've been known to go on 24, 36-hour tears, actually, even with just maybe a couple hours in between where I'm taking some downtime. And then I've also gone on, you know, a 17-hour sleep right after, because I just went on a 24 to 36-hour tear. Now, the interesting thing is, most of what I accomplish in 24 to 36 hours, based on productivity levels, when I'm at my peak, or near my peak even, is what most people can accomplish in a few weeks, maybe more time. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying straight out, like when I work, and I work hard, so that, think of it, you ever heard this expression? It's a southern thing, maybe not, but make hay while the sun is shining. That means, you know, get done what you need to get done while you can get it done, right? And if you're feeling tip top firing on all eight, that's not the day to go and chillax and hang out or watch Netflix or whatever the hell you want to do with your time other than work. That's the day to dig in, double down, pull a huge tear. And I'm not saying you got to do what I do on 24, 36 hours at a time. I don't do that often, but when I do, it's fun. I'll tell you that much. I enjoy it, and I sleep really well, obviously. And then there's days like today where I'd be lucky to get my name right. I'm joking about that, and while most of you may be like, well, I don't see anything wrong with you. Somebody said that yesterday, something to that effect, where they're like, man, I've never seen you at at a low point in terms of energy, and it's just like, yeah, you did. You saw me yesterday, and the thing is, we went 3.5 hours, even though I wasn't feeling good. Didn't matter because you guys needed help, and so what must get done must get done. That said, I could make phone calls today. 100% could make phone calls today. Not gonna, simply because I know that it's not gonna be as good as I want it to be, and that's something where it's like, okay, my mind goes to, well, if I don't feel up to that, what do I feel up to? I always ask myself a ton of questions. Evaluation mode, not overthinking mode, because at a certain point, asking the right question is going to get me the answer I need, and I'm going to move forward. So, for example, okay, not doing calls. Well, what am I doing? Well, today's our normally scheduled live stream anyway, and I was like, you know what? A lot of people didn't even know about the COVID Client Challenge because it wasn't even posted inside of the training properly. My bad. Fixed that, and figured I would announce that, do a recap. There's a lot of things that can be done, and that's just on this session. Answer your guys' questions. There's been several good questions, several good reminders to go check this, go look at that. Here's where you can find this. Hey, William, your market research call script's not loaded. My bad. Load it up. That's all progress. All of this is progress for me, and I feel good about that. Do I feel like I want to beat myself up sometimes? Absolutely. I'm notorious for it, actually. So how do I deal with that? Some days I deal with that really well, even on my bad days, and some days I don't deal with it well at all. But I know this: at the end of the day, if I'm able to answer that I moved the ball forward, right? If I'm able to answer that with a yes, then I resolve myself to feel good about it, even if I feel bad about it, because I also know that at least it's 1 yard further, or 1 yard closer, I should say, to my goal. And I know that tomorrow could be the 24, 36 hour tear. And like I said, those aren't every day. Obviously, if there's 24 hours in a day, 36 hours, that's not every day that happens. But I usually have those, I'd say, like once a week. I mean, it's not a regularly scheduled thing, but it does happen. It does happen, and I like doing it on the weekends, to be honest. I've kind of gotten in the habit of doing that on the weekends, where I'll do that, and then I'll rest all Sunday and just sleep. Wake up early Monday morning, cracking, ready to go. And yesterday I went, for example, I did that over this past weekend actually, and it was almost 36 hours. And here's the interesting part: when I woke up Monday morning, I went to fire up the gears and everything, and it just wasn't there. And it's just because I was tired, and I had a late night last night working on everything, obviously, and still went to dig down deep, and it wasn't there. So I'm gonna rest up tonight and be ready to go 9 a.m. tomorrow morning for sure. But yeah, that's where we're at, and that's how I deal with those things. That's what you were asking. How do you keep from beating yourself up? I think what you need to understand is you're always going to be, if you're the kind of person like I am to beat yourself up, you have to be aware of it, which you are, because you're asking about it, so that's good. Then you have to be accepting of it. Like, you have to accept that that's part of your part of your um, part of your, well, I guess, mindset, I guess you could say. I would say it's just part of you, part of who you are, or um, part of how you process things, right? Once you're accepting of it, then you start defining how you deal with it. Much like, people that lose an arm or a leg, people that lose their hearing or their sight, they have to adapt, right? And the first thing is, for them, is obviously they're aware of it when it happens, and then acceptance of it. And beyond acceptance, they don't just accept it as defeat. I don't mean that. I mean, they accept their situation, and then they say, well, that's not going to keep me from doing whatever it is that I want to get done. And they go and do it. And that's why you hear all those stories, so many stories of people that conquer adversity, because they're too busy with a larger purpose to beat themselves up. So anytime I start to beat myself up, which I'm prone to do, because that's just part of me, how I am, I remember the bigger picture and who I'm helping, right? Which is all you guys. I remember the end goal of everything that I'm going after here, and I remember that without me at least moving the ball 1 yard, I'm not going to get there. And so I do everything I can. I fight for that yard some days. And other days, it's like nobody's out there and I'm just running the ball by myself and on the field. And it's nice on those days, but that's not every day. And you can't beat yourself up for that. Focus on the forward progress. That's the best advice that I can give you. Just be aware that that's part of how you react, who you are. There are people out there that say, well, you can change that. And I'm like, I'd much rather just accept it instead of fight it and work with it and use it to my advantage. Because I feel like it's a double-edged sword. The reason why you beat yourself up, by the way, guys, if you're one of those people, like myself, like Adrian here, if you're like us, then you beat yourself up because of the double-edged sword, meaning you want things to be the best they can be, or you want things to go the way that you feel they need to go for the benefit of everybody. That's the life of service. You're not doing it for selfish reasons. I'm giving you benefit of the doubt. Adrian, I know he's not. Everybody else I'm talking to, I don't know your motives, right? I know Adrian's motives. I know he's doing it for the greater good. So I can tell you 100% that you want things to be the way they need to be, so for the greater good. And when they don't happen that way, you feel like you're not just letting yourself down, but you feel like you're letting everybody down, right? I know the weight of that, very much so. But we have to show up. We have to show up and have the conversations that are tough. Have the, fight for that yard, whatever that is in your business. If it's prospecting for you, if it's management of the campaigns, whatever it is, right? It's going to be something for everybody. Sometimes it's multiple things for people. Sometimes it's more than just one thing, and that's okay. That's what Ring Ads is all about. That's what we're here for. Okay. Hopefully that helps. I know it does me saying that out loud, and I've never had anybody ask me about how I manage beating myself up. That's actually pretty. That's a pretty. Not that I wouldn't tell anybody, obviously I just did, but that's not something I've ever really talked about. I won't say it's private, it's just nobody's ever asked me that. And of course, people that beat themselves up aren't going to just share that freely without being asked, at least. But thank you for asking that. It was a great question, and hopefully I answered it to the best of my ability to help you, right? Let me see here. What do we got? What video is the market research script under? Video 4, day 4. Market research call script is under day 4. That's where you'll find it. If you've done your market research and have over 21 questions to ask the client, do you ask all the all that 20 clients the same questions, or do I split them between the 20? No, here's what you do. There's a lot of people think, okay, all I got to do is just get these questions together and ask the same questions over and over again to the same, or to different people, so I can get the same kind of like a poll, like a census. We're not conducting a census. We're not conducting a poll here. We're digging for information, and so we're using prior learned information to dig into new information. So, for example, if you learned XYZ is the main competitor, or if you start to learn that Home Advisor is a main provider for this vertical that you're in, then you can start bringing that up before they do, and now they have to bring something else up to contribute to the conversation, which means they go a level deeper and a level deeper and a level deeper. And by the time you get to the end of your 20 calls, you should be asking different questions and digging into different information. If they have alternate information on other providers that they buy from, or have bought from in the past, or their experiences, or maybe multiple experiences or multiple answers, grab everything you can, right? Grab everything you can. But the questions that you start with are going to be different than the questions you end with, for sure. From the first person you speak to the 20th person you speak to, they're going to be different questions, and they should be. If they're not, then you're not asking the right questions, right? You're not digging deep enough, and you'll end up with market research that you think is good enough, but other people will be able to run circles around you, or your potential clients will see right through you. One of those two, or both. Had a good example of that yesterday in the mentorship about the market research and how it could have been better. Let's say it that way. It was okay, but it could have been way better, and it will be. I'm sure it will be after yesterday's call. But it's not an uncommon thing. It's a common thing that I run into where market research is not done well. Let's say people feel like it's just something. Think of it as like, most people think of it as like homework. I look at it and think of it as like on-the-job training. I mean, there's a difference. On-the-job training, you're actually on-the-job training, whereas homework is something you take home. It's a pain in the ass. You don't really want to do it because most of the time you go through the problems, and I had this thing where when I was in school, please don't do this, or teach your children to do this. I was so unmotivated. I was so uninspired. Nobody challenged me. And I didn't have any figures in my life to do that at that time. And so being the fairly educated child that I was, I figured based on the testing system, because I tested well, that was never a problem for me. Some people can't take tests. I'm not one of those people. I can take tests. And I calculated out how much of my homework I had to do based on me acing the tests. And what I would do is I would take my homework at night, I'd take it home, and I would do the problems, but I would only do a certain amount of them, of each set of problems. So for example, like with math homework, there'd be like 5 different problem sets, and I would do like 2 or 3 problems in each of the sets instead of the entire set of homework. And so I would end up with like a C on my or worse even sometimes on my homework, but then I'd ace my tests and I'd walk away with a C or a B. And I didn't give a shit because I understood the concepts that they were teaching, and I didn't have to spend as much time doing the homework. In other words, once I knew that I got how to work that type of problem and was confident in that, then I was good. Now, if I ran across a problem set that I struggled with, I did every problem because I knew I was going to struggle with it if I didn't. And so I did that, and that's how I handled my homework. Notice, homework, I'm only doing just enough left to my own devices, of course, as a child, to get by, right? And I really took that to the next level. And so my teachers would always complain, they'd bitch and moan about me not applying myself. I thought that was so funny. I was like, apply myself to what, right? To what? What you're giving me is not it's not worthy. Sorry, it's not beneath me, but it's not worthy of my time. More time. You're asking me for more of my time on this, and it's not worthy of that. That's basically what the message was that I was delivering. And so I'm not encouraging that activity. I'm simply pointing out that people in general will do human nature. We will not shortcut, but we will do, if we feel something is lower priority or something that's like a yeah, homework is like confirming that I know what was talked about from the teacher today, then yeah, people are going to do the minimum. If you don't believe me, ask yourself about the 9 to 5 mentality. What's the 9 to 5 mentality? It's clock in 2 minutes late and clock out 2 minutes early. Right? It's that standing at the clock thing. That is the 9 to 5 mindset. And once you're aware of that, and then you're made aware of the fact that your market research is not something to be treated that way. It's something to actually be treated as an on-the-job training, meaning you're getting paid to, even if you may not see the dollars yet, trust me, you're going to see the dollars add up in the back end when you start pulling in clients. And that's, if you're at the market research stage, you're very, very close, obviously, to making those phone calls for the sales side and pulling in clients. So it's very important you do good market research. If you don't, you're going to pay the price for it, for sure. Yeah, please don't have your children do homework that way. And please don't tell my old teachers that that's how I did what I did. I will say this: the last 2 years of high school, I did apply myself. I pulled in like a 3.5, 3.75 average for the last 2 years because everybody told me I wasn't going to be able to go to college if I kept doing what I was doing. I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. I was like, well, and at that time, obviously, I was taught graduate high school, go to college, get a job, right? That whole thing. And at a certain point in college, I couldn't understand that whole thing. I couldn't understand that concept, and so I actually started my first business when I was 18. When I was in college, that's kind of funny. Anyway, Andrew, you're telling me. You're telling me you were being lazy. I wouldn't call it lazy. I would just call it not valuing the importance of the market research, right? What I would also say is your next question about how much tow truck calls would sell for. I'll tell you the same thing. It's one of those things where I have the answer, but man, if I give it to you, you're going to take it for granted. It's not your fault. It's human nature, but I'm not going to give it to you. Go do your market research. If you want to talk about it after you've done your market research, like really done your friggin', if you've really eaten your vegetables, then we can talk about dessert, okay? And I'll have no problems discussing with you the pricing that you found and course correcting you based on that. But I'm not going to just hand you the answer like that. It's not doing you any favors. Short term, long term, any term. Okay, so I'm not going to answer that question. Well, I answered that question, but I'm not going to answer it the way you want. Go do your market research, especially after that speech I just made about market research. Digging in deeper on the market research, you're right. Market research is critical for any company. It's money for us, helps with pricing, sales calls, and obviously having a profitable campaign faster. Thanks for your help again yesterday. Carrie, you're always welcome, dude. It's good to see you. Yeah, I have all the confidence in the world you're going to take that and run with it. No doubt in my mind. I'm very happy with yesterday's call and what I know you took from it. It wasn't just that. You took many things from the call, and so did I. And so did everybody else listening to it in the mentorship yesterday. So good on you for doing that. It was a great call. It really was. because it's also appliance repair, and I searched in the Facebook group where I saw a lot of complaints and issues that appliance techs are having now. So I based the questions around the experiences. Am I wrong there? No, Jen, you're not wrong. Just understand your questions are going to change. Kind of like, it's very difficult to explain, I guess. I'm doing my best here. Everybody you're talking to has a different experience of what. Actually, hold on. Let me just double check something real quick. There we go. Everybody everybody that you talk to has a different experience, or has gone through a different experience. Some have never purchased phone calls. Some have. Some have enjoyed it. Some haven't. Some are open to it. Some aren't. And all the reasons for those different possibilities, right? Different products and services offered, different hours of operation, different businesses based on size think differently. There's so many different things that you can ask of companies that maybe only have 2 staff versus companies that have 50 on staff. And you're going to get different answers in how they think, and you're going to start to piece together how the industry thinks in general, and then how a company starts small and how they think, and then what the bigger companies think like. Just by doing your proper market research, you're going to find out a lot about the vertical that you're in. So again, I'll restate this. It's fine that you have those questions, but you're not going to ask them the same questions over and over again to all the different people, the same questions. It's not the most productive way. You're not there to do the census, my man. All right, somebody else is doing that this year. You're not there to take a poll. You're there to get information. You're there to dig and get research. You're going to find a lot of the answers to the same questions without having to ask those questions, because you're digging deeper, right? The whole point is to learn what it is about the market that you didn't know before, and then use that in the next conversation you have. And then whatever you learn from that, use that in the next conversation. Whatever you learn from that, and it just digs. It digs deep, as opposed to asking the same surface level shit. Not that it's bad, right? It's not shit. It's just the same. And that's only going to get you a finite amount of answers. Whereas if you dig, you can have at-length conversations with people that they open up to you more, because they think you're in the industry, or they think that you've been in the industry, I should say, for a lot longer than you actually have, because you sound like you've been in the business a lot longer than you have, right? I think that's the important thing to take away from that. I'm not saying those are bad questions or anything. Good on you for finding those. However, those are not the only questions you need to be asking, right? I like it when you ask what keeps you up at night regarding your business. That's a question that's open-ended, right? There is no right answer or wrong answer, Sid. That's a good point. I like that question too, because it gets people talking about their business, and it could be something that's not lead generation based, and I'm totally okay with that, because it tells me what kind of challenges the industry in general is dealing with. That's a very important question that you can work in almost anywhere, even at the very beginning. It'd be kind of weird at the beginning, but you could still do it. But it's a great question, because again, it's open-ended. You get a lot of different answers, and get them to expand on those answers without having to ask too much. And they don't feel like you're being intrusive. You're just trying to understand the industry, what keeps them up at night, right? And once you learn what those problems are, if you're able to find solutions for them, and there's examples of that along the way. In every vertical is different in that regard, but there's always solutions to those problems. Most business owners just don't realize them yet, or know of them, because like you, they haven't done their homework on that, because they're too busy trying to service their clients or find more business, right? And you have the solution for that, but you can also be the solution guy or gal for many different problems, not just the lead generation problem. And the idea there is, if I help you, if you cut your finger and broke your leg, right? And I helped you fix your finger, right? That's great. But if I like completely fixed you up and fixed your finger and your leg, you're never going to forget that the rest of your life. You're going to remember that guy that did that for you. And I think that goes to say that when you help clients like that, you go what I call above and beyond for them. That's when they become lifelong clients. I mean, it's a relationship building exercise for sure, and it's very effective. And your clients end up loving you for that, and you build a business that it's going to be very hard to bring down. I guess best way to say that. What is the most important thing we're trying to get out of the market research conversations that will benefit our business? I like that we are deep diving in this subject. Most important questions. You want to know what keeps them up at night. You want to know what their problems are. You want to know if they have any previous experience. There's already some pre-written questions to start with, but those are probably the most important and basic is their experiences with buying leads or buying phone calls, who they bought them from, how much they paid, what their experience was with those people, what their biggest ticket is, what their big money maker is. That's a great question to ask. Like I said, what keeps them up at night. There's a bunch of different questions like that. I would say it'd probably be best for you to review day 4 when I do those calls towards the end of the day. It'd be best for you to review that because that's where a lot of those questions, even some that I didn't ask, I brought up that should be asked, if that makes sense, before the call, and I believe after the call as well. And during the call, a lot of questions came up that I asked. Actually, I'd be curious to know, I did not count. I wonder how many questions on target for the business that I asked that one business owner that I spoke with. I would say it's at least 5. It might have been more like 7 or 8. I could be wrong on that, but I know this. I pulled at least 10 good bits of information, which again I cover. And think about this for a second. If I pull 10 bits of information and I take that 10 pieces of information, and on call number 2 that I have with a business owner, I'm able to apply 2 or 3 of those and get a whole nother set of 5 to 10 good bits of information. And I do that 20 times. I mean, I may not end up with 200 pieces of information, but I'll probably be well over 100. And the thing is like we're talking golden nuggets here, not little bits of information that are useless. What happens if all the appliance repair guys are libertarian, for example, from day 4? And I'm making a joke, but I'm also being dead serious. Like, what if they all share the same kind of mindset? Which, by the way, they do. They're not all libertarian, but they're definitely blue-collar guys, salt of the earth people, good people that don't want to get screwed, but at the same time, you show them the money, they're yours for life. They're your buddy for life. And that's in this kind of a business, you couldn't really ask for a better type of client, in my opinion. And that's what we're looking for. That's exactly what we're looking for. So hopefully that makes sense. But you only pick up on that when you've made your market research calls, right? Okay, any other questions? I don't think I missed anything. Stacy's with us. Hey, Stacy. Dennis is with us. Hey, Dennis. All right, I'm not seeing anything. I'll give it a few minutes, and I'll just kind of hang out for a little bit and answer some questions. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we start day 5 for the COVID Client Challenge. Man, my nose is itchy today. Somebody must be talking about me. Actually, kind of makes sense. I been telling you I was going to do this, and based on my recent recent discovery. I actually submitted a cease and desist today. Forward that on to the authorities as well. Well, I CC'd them so that they can see that I'm serious about getting that training taken down. It's just it's time. It's been time actually, and now it's definitely time, because I can't have people holding me liable for training that they learned from, and people that are continuing that training and teaching stuff that's going to get their merchant account shut down. It's not good. So that cease and desist was sent this morning, actually a few hours ago. What was that? Five and a half hours ago, roughly. That was sent, and we'll see what happens. If nothing happens, don't worry. Next steps. That's what it's all about, progress. So making progress there. Looking forward to that. And tell you this, one way or the other, that stuff's coming down 100%. And that's going to help me sleep better at night for sure, knowing that people aren't pulling from training, that the advice they're getting on the training they currently have is not in alignment with the training. I don't even know why they would want to use it. They should just not be using it right now anyway, but they very clearly are. And so I've sent the cease and desist this morning on that, and that should be taken care of here soon, I would believe. Okay, other questions. Cool. Michael, I just received a call from a potential new client, good job, who was referred to me from another client, even better. HVAC needs calls now. He's tried many others and heard from your guy that you make the phone ring, but the other client is not as a competitive field. Haven't been in the group for some time. Do you offer the training mentorship that would help me kill it for this client? Last time I tried PPC in this area, highly competitive, failed miserably. Well, first off, I don't recommend handling more than one vertical to start. If you're an HVAC, you're an HVAC. If you're not an HVAC, then you're not an HVAC. I'm not saying that to discourage you from taking on a new client. I'm just saying that so that you understand, if you're truly wanting to be in alignment with what I teach, then stick with one vertical, 100%. You think, after a few years of teaching the same stuff, pretty much across the board. I mean, there's been updates, don't get me wrong, and changes, but very, very small changes. But the big staples are stick with one vertical, do thorough market research, right? Actually speak to 20 people, run the agency template, run the ringless voicemail, voice broadcasting, with the systems that I teach. Like, not people, it's so interesting to me that people, I built this house and people are like, wow, that's a nice house. I want to build one too. What tools did you use? And I say, these are the tools that I used, and this is the way that I use the tools. And I show everything start to finish on the tools, the brand of tools, why I chose that brand of tools, everything, right? And then people are like, well, I want to use this kind of brand or this different brand or this and that. And then they come back to me with a house that's all fucked up, and they're like, what happened? Why does my house not look like yours? It's not even close, or all kinds of stuff like that. And I'm not saying that to bag on anybody. I just want you to understand the perspective of what you're asking me to deliver on, and then what you're doing to mess up that delivery for yourself. Stick with one vertical. And that said, if this is the new vertical that you're sticking with, Mike, I would say, or Michael, excuse me, don't mean to be informal. The mentorship is inside the upgrades tab, if that's what you're talking about. You'll find that there. The other things that we offer, like Ring Ads Prime, Ring Ads Mirror, those are pretty self-explanatory. But again, in the upgrades tab, there's a link where you can see exactly what's what. This is not really pay-per-click more than, even though it is pay-per-click, it's designed to drive phone calls. So depending on what vertical it is, because you clearly did not name it, maybe it's because the reason you didn't succeed is because the vertical was not something that I advise or that I recommend. It may have seemed like it, or maybe it's close to something like I've recommended. Like, for example, I got a guy who, in support, I've got to go back and answer a ticket about a vertical like garage door repair, and it's like, that's not a bad vertical, and yes, you can drive phone calls for it, but it's not the same as the other verticals that I teach on that I've listed, and there's many reasons for that. Just like if I had the house and I had this hammer, but it was a very special type of hammer, and yeah, it was more expensive, but it got the job done, and this is why I used it. And you decide to go use a hammer from Harbor Freight. Nothing against Harbor Freight, by the way. I shop there sometimes, but for cheap stuff, right? Stuff I know that at some point it's going to break, and I'm shit out of luck when it does. Those of you that know what tools are and know about Harbor Freight, you get the example that I'm throwing down to you. I've got Snap-on in my hand, lifetime warranty. Anybody who knows Snap-on tools, they know the deal. And I actually do own Snap-on. So like Snap-on tools, best tools money can buy pretty much. If a wrench breaks, a socket breaks, instant replacement, no questions asked, free for lifetime, right? So you're paying not just for the replacing of hand tools like that on a lifetime warranty, but you're also paying for how good the quality is. I mean, in the back 40 of Snap-on's lot, so I hear from some of the sales reps, there are piles and piles of defective wrenches that didn't make the cut, that are probably good enough for most people, but they did not make the cut. And that's what you pay for, right? When you buy a Snap-on tool. You're trying to buy a Harbor Freight hammer. I got something else that's going to last for life, and if it doesn't, it's going to be able to get replaced. Whereas the Harbor Freight one, you might have to go buy several of them, right? And maybe it doesn't do as good a job in terms of what the other hammer does. That's the best example I can give you on that, on the vertical side, and actually the entire business model. Here's what's really crazy. I'm giving you the answers to the test. All you have to do is put the answers in that I'm giving you, and you will succeed with this model. If you do something other than that, other than the answers that I'm giving you, I can't guarantee your success. I can't, nobody could. Really, I can't guarantee anybody's success, because I don't know at what point. I've seen people go to 50 clients, 60 clients, and then just stop doing what I teach. No idea why. Maybe they know better than me. Okay. Good luck with that, right? There's a reason why I'm around, not just for a set period of time or for a set amount of training, but there's a reason why I'm here twice a month, right? There's a reason why on a set schedule. There's a reason why I'm in the mentorship. I'm there every week. There's a reason why I say, hey, let's jump on live streams and you share your screen and show me the campaigns you're working on so that I can help you optimize them, right? Those kind of things. And my door is always open on stuff like that for streams like this. I have no problems doing that, because I know that at the end of the day, if you're actually following the training that I give you, then and putting in the answers to the test that I'm giving you, then you're gonna pass. You're gonna do well. For some reason in human nature, deviation is inevitable. Seems like it's just being able to be aware of that and help others be aware of that, I guess, is the best way to say that, and how to process that, how to deal with that deviation. I think that's the biggest thing on my plate right now in terms of how I teach, because what I teach works. And when people work it, it works. And then when they stop doing what they need to do, when they stop working it, it stops working. And I've got to find a way to make it very clear to people in my training and in my live streams that when you do that, here are the results. Here's the consequences, in other words, of your actions. And there's nothing I can do about it. A lot of people think it's because I'm trying to be bossy or run your business. Man, I don't want to run your business. If I did that, I'd be a partner, and I don't want a partner. So that should be very clear to you that I actually care about your success and what you're doing and what makes that difference, right? Being able to scale, all those kind of things play into it. So hopefully that helps answer that question for you. It may not be the answer you want to hear, but I'll tell you this, it's the best answer that money can buy. I'll tell you that much. Not going to find a more straight shooter than that, right? You're just not. Okay. I also discovered that appliance techs are the shit in this industry if they're certified. They do as they please. Some stay at home and claim from CARES Act and get paid $600 a week just sitting at home. Owners are complaining, threatening to fire them, but if you fire them, they can just go to work for your competitors. Some rip the owner off and do their own side hustles with the owner's tools and transport. Yep, it's actually a very common problem. It's a cash business a lot of times, and a lot of business owners in the appliance repair industry haven't switched over to some kind of electronic form of payment, taking payment with a card swiper or punching in details, things like that, via a phone or a tablet. And because they're still stuck on cash, people tend to pocket the cash, or they tend to do extra jobs off the books. And yeah, you're right. Sometimes even if they're using the owner's tools already, then yeah, they're doing it on company time, right? And costing the company tons of money. That's one of the, not the only reason, but one of the main reasons for why retention of appliance repair techs is difficult, because they feel very unappreciated, I guess is the best way to describe that one. Even if the owner is extremely nice to them, you got to think, I mean, their job is not the best in the world, not the easiest in the world. They got to deal with a bunch of different homeowners that are probably stressed out by the time they get there. Sometimes people in their own home can be real assholes about things, especially if things aren't working the way they thought, or maybe they thought that the parts van has all the parts ever in the face of God's green earth, and it's just not that way. So somebody has to come back and fix the compressor, or come back and fix the belt, or whatever's wrong on another day, because the parts aren't readily available. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. It's just how it goes. So yeah, that's one of the challenges is retaining techs, and then some of the sub challenges with that is the fact that it's a cash business. Some of them like to get sticky fingers and walk away with the cash. Okay, gonna eat my vegetables, gonna go over it with you. That okay? Yeah, like I said, that's more than fine. I want you to go and do the market research. We'll have a conversation after about it. I have no problem with that. Just do the market research, right? You've got what till our next coaching call or live stream. May 14th? You've got till May 14th. You've got what is that? I don't know, 16 days, 15 days, because on the 14th you probably don't have that time. So call it 15 days. You got 15 days to do your market research. I mean, if you were able to make 5 calls a day, you'd be pretty close, if not almost all the way there. 5 dials a day. I mean, if you made 5 connections a day, you'd be done inside of a week, right? Whatever it is that you need to do, go do that. Get the market research in, and then I'll be more than happy to discuss pricing with you once you tell me what you have found, okay? And the reason I'm doing that is so that you don't just pull pricing, because if you go on those calls just asking about pricing, you're going to run dry real quick. You're going to have to ask them the important questions. Pricing is not unimportant. It's just maybe not the highest priority. A lot of that kind of information you can find on google.com. That's one of the reasons why I want you to go back, do the market research, do it right, and then we'll have that talk. I have no problem doing that. No problem at all. I encourage it. Okay, cool. Not seeing any other questions. Anything else? We'll make this like a last call. Let's do a last call here. Ooh. Any other questions? Any other questions? I'll wait. It may take you some time to type some stuff in. I don't want there to be any dead air, so let me see if I can think of something here. Is the series tomorrow or the next day, day 6, 7? No, tomorrow's day 5, Thursday's day 6, and Friday's day 7. So tomorrow will be day 5. So today was supposed to be day 5, but tomorrow will be day 5, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's when we're going to start. We're going to do a script review. We're going to do, if we can, a little bit of catch up on some of the updating expenses, stuff like that. It's lower priority though, so only if we have time. Excuse me. If we don't have any time, then we're just going to do the script review and then jump on the phone. That's pretty much going to be most of the day. I'd say at least 3 hours of calls, and then we're going to spend. I'm going to take a break, of course, somewhere in there, and then we're going to spend some time actually creating our first campaign. And remember, the first campaign we create is going to take the most work. From there, a lot of duplication kind of takes over, and so you're going to see the first client go and start to finish, and then it's going to be like, okay, and then you're going to see the second client. It's going to be like half that time, and then the third client's going to be half of the half, and we're going to get it down to where it's 15, 20 minutes, right, to load a client in. It's going to be pretty slick, and how all this works, but it's one of the many reasons, again, why I talk about one vertical, 100%. It's much easier for me to go after one vertical and then expand out into the different verticals later, just based on the fact of repetition, right? Repetition is super important. Okay. Sid's asking, do we have a training video to give the client to teach them the back office setup? No, you do not currently have that. It's on the to-do list. Part of the training that we're rolling out after the COVID Client Challenge will be that. They will be white label videos, no logos, no nothing like that, no URLs. It'll all be blurred or blacked out, something that looks good, so that you can use them as your own, and it'll be in my voice. I'm almost certain of that. But those training videos do not exist yet, right? That's another reason why I say right now, that doesn't mean that you can't teach your clients the back office. You just teach your clients the back office. You can either make your own training video and upload it, which you have the ability to do inside of the training videos category, if you didn't know that. That's how to do that's inside the software training. But you also are encouraged, and you've seen me do this, create a test company account for that very purpose, where you can log in as a client would log in and see what they see. All right, you can do a screen share with them. You can record your own video. I wouldn't wait on me to produce those white label videos. However, when they are produced, use them. Sure, I have no problem with that. That's what they're there for, but they're not there currently. So while that's a good question, don't let that keep you from moving forward. Okay, many people have clients inside of RingAds or using RingAds platform right now that don't have access to training videos like that. Right? Look at it this way: it's another reason for you to be able to speak to your clients right now, and that's a good thing. Any excuse you can get to be able to engage your current clients, take it, right? You get more calls than usual, call your client about it. You get an interesting dispute come in, or a funny phone call or recording, call your client about it, talk to them about it. You get something you need to show them in the training in the back office, like loading up funds, call your client about it, do a screen share. They're getting low on funds, they need to re-up, call your client about it. You getting the picture here? Call your client, talk to your client. Client engagement is super important. Okay, when you do your scrapes, do you get plumbers and auto mechanics in your scrapes? Sometimes. The whole point of doing the scraping for the Google Maps contact extractor is to go back and clean the list when you're done, or when the scrapes are done. So just clean the list, right? Don't worry about what you're getting, what you're not getting. Just make sure you're getting enough of the right stuff, and that your keywords are on point, and then get rid of the stuff that doesn't make sense, right? You're going to have to go through those lists and delete that stuff out, but that's an easy thing to do. Very, very easy thing to do. Okay, cool. All right, looks like we're good. So again, day 5 tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to start, and we're going to review the call script and jump on the phone and close some clients and show you the client ad campaign creation, that entire process, and go and do it again and again and again and again. Day 5, day 6, day 7 this week. So should be fun. I know it will be. It's been building and building, and I know a lot of people have been anxious for us to roll this out, and I'm more than happy to be here to provide it. I just want to make sure it's the best that it can be, to give you an accurate representation of what your day-to-day is going to look like. So unfortunately, you have days like today or days like Friday, where you have progress, but at the same time, you know, there's things that happen, right? Or life. I mean, there's no other way to really say it. The good news is there's plenty that we can do in the meantime, and kick off tomorrow and do very well with it. So very excited about that, and look forward to seeing you there. And apologies about not having the client challenge loaded into the training area for everybody. That's my bad. But now it is, and it's got all the files loaded and everything. So yeah, thanks for coming on, asking questions, and happy to help as always. And I'll see you here tomorrow at 9 a.m. All right, guys. And if I don't see you for the rest of the COVID Client Challenge, maybe you've got work, or maybe you're busy working on the agency even. That's fine. Watch the replays, and I'll definitely catch you on the next live stream that we do, which is going to be May 14th here in the group at 12 p.m. Pacific. So tomorrow 9 a.m. next coaching call is going to be that's COVID Client Challenge. Next coaching call is going to be May 14th at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right, guys. I'll see you on one of them. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll jam on the phone together. That should be some fun. And also gives those of you who aren't quite caught up yet a little bit more time to catch up. So hopefully that helps you out. I'm hoping that it does. Some of you are doing your market research right now, which is great. So keep doing what you're doing, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow morning at 9. All right. Bye for now, guys.